So we get back into our series today. The topic is anxiety. I'm sure nobody out there has ever had a problem with anxiety. So, well, there it is. Yes, of course. This is a big topic. And we've been inviting counselors from our community to come and help us understand these topics each week. And I'm excited about the next couple weeks because you're going to see some familiar faces. We're having some counselors from within our congregation to come and share with us and be a part of this series. So this morning, would you help me to welcome Melissa Orman to come to the stage? Melissa, come on up. And she's going to help us as we take a look at anxiety and worry this morning. So thank you, Melissa, for joining us and giving us benefit of your expertise. For those that don't know you, tell us a little bit about how you practice counseling. You do that in more ways than one, so just kind of give us an overview of what you do.
Okay, well, welcome everyone. I'm glad to be here. So I have two ways I do counseling. During the day, I'm a crisis counselor at a high school in Birdville called Griggs High School. Used to be Shannon, now it's Griggs. And we help kids that are behind in credits or have a lot of anxiety, some mental health issues surrounding being in a big school. So I do that during the day. And then in the evening, Monday through Thursday, I have my own private practice called Discover Your Way Counseling. And it's in Colleyville, Texas. And I see people 13 and up. And we do a lot of work with anxiety and depression. And I also have a teenage girls group that I run. I'm not currently doing it, but I was doing it from April to July. But right now it's kind of on hold. But that's what I do.
So, Melissa, you're very busy. You see a lot of people from all ages. So I'm sure you have seen a lot of anxiety. And so we're grateful that you're here to help us today to talk about this. So as we begin, just set the stage for us. Give us the overview of when we talk about anxiety. What do we mean from a psychological perspective when we go there?
So anxiety is worry. It's worrying about something. It's having fear about something, feeling restless. Sometimes we have panic attacks. That's the main things we see with anxiety. And like some of you guys, for example, may have anxiety with doing things in your life. If it's your first time to come to church here, you may feel anxiety because you don't know what to expect. You don't know anyone. So that can cause you some fear. Or like when you first started a job, like you didn't know anyone. You're walking into a position and you're the new person and you can have anxiety with that. Sometimes crowds give people anxiety. So it's normal to have anxiety.
So there's maybe levels of anxiety that would be kind of everyday anxieties all the way to the point of maybe some crippling anxieties. Is that what you're trying to say here? Yeah.
Yes. There's sometimes when you have so much anxiety that it keeps you from doing the normal things in life that you wouldn't do, like going out with friends. If it's something that you would normally do, like have coffee with friends twice a week or go play pickleball or, whatever it is you're doing. And now you're not doing that because you just have so much fear and worry that you can't leave your house. That would be a more severe form of anxiety.
Okay, so before we get to that side, as we had some conversations before, you mentioned to me that sometimes, we think about anxiety as all bad, but sometimes anxiety can actually be a benefit to us. You want to explain what you meant by that?
Yeah, so sometimes anxiety can benefit us in that, let's say you want a raise at work and you have to go talk to your boss. That can produce some anxiety. But also with that anxiety, it produces adrenaline and dopamine, and you get a surge of energy, and that helps you to go into that office and advocate for a raise. Or even going into a new situation, confronting somebody, you can get that adrenaline rush. And so anxiety, it's not a bad thing. We all have anxiety. Like if you're late to an appointment, you can't find it because you're lost, you're going to have anxiety. But that's okay. Like it's normal to have anxiety. When it inhibits you from doing the things you love, that's when it's at a different level.
So sometimes anxiety can actually propel us to do some things that we might not otherwise take the initiative to do. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes.
Now, when you were describing anxiety a moment ago, you were talking about, not doing things that you normally do and kind of feeling, I don't want to leave my house or whatever. It sounds to me a little bit similar to depression. So talk a little bit about where there's maybe some overlap between anxiety and depression, and maybe where there's some differences between those two.
Yeah, so the main thing we see with anxiety is a lot of worry and fear. Depression, we see hopelessness, we see worthlessness, you feel guilt, irritability, frustration, you lack motivation, you don't want to do, again, you're not doing the things that you normally would do. Maybe going to work is just dreadful for you. Like, I don't think anyone gets up and like, ooh, this is the most exciting day of my life. I can't wait to get up. But we go to work and we find some joy in it. But if you're to the point where you're dreading it, your stomach is feeling sick, that's depression. And we see different depression symptoms in different people. With teenagers, a lot of times we see the anger, the irritability, which I know every teenager feels that way. You're like, what teenager doesn't have anger and irritability? And that is true. But that's again where we're looking at your baseline. If you are usually someone that doesn't sleep very well, and now you're not sleeping very well, that's normal for you. But if you're oversleeping, or if you're overeating or undereating, so it's those changes in your normal life that can cause alarm that maybe something is wrong. So that's the difference in anxiety. Anxiety is a lot of fear, a lot of worry. Is someone talking about me? Is somebody saying something about me? Depression is a lot of worthlessness. Hopelessness is the big one.
So even though they may kind of manifest in similar ways, like the root issues are kind of different between those two.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So when we talk about like levels, let's call it levels of anxiety, from things that are kind of minimal, that kind of propel us to do things that maybe we wouldn't do, to things that are crippling. Let's start over on the side of like the everyday anxieties. What can we do to kind of overcome those and not let those be too overwhelming in our lives?
So a lot of the things I tell my clients is to check the facts with what they're thinking is plaguing them. Like if they're worrying, like people at work are talking about them, what is your factual basis that is happening? And play through that in your mind. Like, are they looking at you, and are they looking at you because you have something on your face, or they like your outfit? Or, check those facts. If you think that you're about to get fired, okay, have you been written up? Has somebody said something to you? Or is this just you, like what we call ruminating on something, and you're just stuck on it and you can't move past it? So that's what I tell my clients. And then journaling is good. Grounding techniques, deep breathing. And, everybody says, oh, take deep breaths. It does release a chemical and flood your brain with oxygen so that you can make informed decisions. So doing things like that, those coping skills, will help you on a daily basis with your anxiety.
So just taking a realistic picture of what's going on and trying to see that for what it is and not jump to conclusions, right? Okay. Now, if we go further into anxiety and it does become debilitating or crippling, well, what do you suggest? Like, when does someone cross the line where they really need to see somebody and talk about it?
Yeah, if you are just not doing any of those things that you normally did, if you're calling in sick a lot to work, you're canceling appointments, you're not wanting to talk to people, then, I think therapy is great for everyone. I mean, obviously I'm a therapist, I think it's great, but I really do. I mean, you can go to someone and talk to them about anything you want. They're not going to judge you, and they're going to help you get through it and help you problem solve. I think that's great. This world is so challenging right now, between the traffic, the political climate. Everything is so challenging right now that I think anyone could benefit from counseling. But if you are at a point where you just can't move forward in your life, then yes. And also, don't wait until it's a horrible situation. I have a lot of people tell me, well, my life isn't as bad as my neighbor who da-da-da-da happened. Like, everybody's own problems are their own, and we all handle them in different ways. So I think counseling is great. Another thing I hear a lot is, I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray it away. That is great to pray. Everybody should be praying. But God also gave us counselors, therapists, medication, things to help us as we journey down this challenging life. And I pray with clients in my office, but I also think it's important to talk to someone, because a lot of times when you're saying things out loud, you hear yourself saying those things, and then you start to form, responses to those things. So it's important to talk about those things with somebody.
That's great encouragement, and I think just having someone to communicate with and to talk to that's not going to judge you, like you said, that you can get some feedback and kind of lower the temperature, so to speak.
Right,
in
exactly.
Your own life. Yeah, so that's very helpful. That's very good. Is there anything you want to leave us with, some final encouragement that you want to give us before we wrap up our time together?
Yeah, and the other thing that I want to mention too is, if you are going to therapy and you feel like you're getting nothing out of it, feel free to tell your therapist, like, hey, I don't feel like we're getting anything. We're just talking about my day. I'm not really getting anything out of it. Feel free to tell them. I tell my clients all the time, if I am off, just tell me and we'll work through it. Because I would rather someone tell me that than walk away thinking, well, that was a waste of my money. So, and once you tell a therapist that, if you're still not getting aware, try somebody else. We all have different techniques we use. There's different types of therapy out there. Find the person that works for you. There's a lot of us out there. You can look on Psychology Today. We all have our profile on there, what our specialty is. So find the one that works best for you.
And that's great encouragement when it comes to the series, because one of the things we're trying to do by highlighting somebody different each week is to show you that there are different ways that you can approach these issues, and mental health counselors and therapists do have different methods. And like she said, some may work for you and some may not. And what we want to help you understand is, like, maybe if you talk to Melissa, she might say, you know what, I know somebody really better that could help you with that situation. And so that's one of the reasons why we're showing a broad range of counselors, to give you an idea of people with different perspectives, different personalities, and they're all across the spectrum. So Melissa, thank you. She's going to be out in the Commons afterwards if you want to ask her a question or talk to her about anything you want to have a conversation about. Her information, as always, is on the back of the bulletin as well. And so hopefully if you want to connect with her, you have ways to do that. And thank you again, Melissa. Would you help me express our appreciation?
Thank you.
To Melissa. Thank you so much.